Hey, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Garry.
My name's Matt.
I'm Maria.
My name's Harry.
And welcome to the July Roundtable.
Bazinga!
Hey!
Welcome back, Who fans. Thank you very much for hopping on to another episode of the Big Blue Box. It's the monthly roundtable. As always, it's been a minute. To be honest with you, we've not had the opportunity to get together and record for a little while. Stuff going on and all that stuff, and we've missed some big news to talk about. But fear not, we will go through all of that stuff on this month's episode. So thank you very much. As I said, it's great to have you joining and listening to us waffle about Doctor Who and all the things as usual. I'm joined by Maria, Matt and Harry. We'll get onto those guys in a second. But as I said, it has been a minute. We've been busy. We were at a convention a couple of months ago and we were doing all that stuff. We were in person as a team taking over the Capital event down in lovely sunny Crawley. Was it sunny? It was for the most part, if I remember. 2 months seems like a long time ago now. But that was a really cool event. We'll go through that as well. Give you a recap on that. I think these guys are off to a couple more events and whatnot over the next few months as well. So I'll let those guys fill you on that. But yes, it is so good to be back recording and talking all things Doctor Who. Because Adam and I haven't done an episode, one of the quote unquote normal ones, in bloody ages. So thank God that we are all podcasting about other things. Myself and Adam, we have our Blake 7 podcast. That's just wrapped up its second season over a Federation strike. We're going to start recording a brand new podcast in a few weeks' time for something else. I'm in the I'm in the throes of editing out a podcast that Maria and Jordan have embarked upon. You've heard me mention a few times their reviews of Sapphire and Steel. Very cool old British sci-fi show that they're going to get into. Matt and I are recording, hopefully next week, to give you some stuff about a certain TV movie that landed recently. So it's weird. We've had a bit of a break for a little while, and now all of a sudden, bosh, it's all coming together. So let's get these guys' mics unmuted. Maria, welcome to the July Roundtable. You all good? Have you done anything Doctor Who related recently?
I did go to a event at Riverside Studios. That was, I think, a couple of weeks back. These DWAS events are becoming very popular now. So, tickets tend to kind of sell out really quickly. But this was a showcase of some black and white episodes. They were based around the Cybermen. So there was 3 episodes that they showed. There was, I think it was episode 3 of the 10th Planet. There was also, I think episode 6, or it might be an episode 8 of the Invasion. And there was also, oh my gosh, what was the other one? It will come to me in a minute. It's gone out of my head. But that was a really nice event to go to. Wendy Padbury was there, and there were some other guests as well. So that was a nice afternoon. And these events tend to be structured around watching the episodes. Then there's a Q&A. There's opportunities for photographs with all the guests and autographs. So it's quite a full day. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was and the Riverside Studios is a lovely kind of place to kind of have an event like that. They did have some of the Cybermen there on display. So you had all the different stages of the black and white Cybermen there, and you were able to take photographs of them as well. So yeah, that was a good event. My co-writer Jordan was there as well, so we had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, sounds awesome. Yeah, they are getting some way more popular now, aren't they? Those DWAS events. They seem to be to ramping up a bit, and the Riverside ones as well. Fair play to those guys. They just keep plugging away. It's like those two are like the staples now for London, aren't they? You've got Riverside, you've got the BFI events, and regardless of what's going on with the current show or whatever's going on with that, those guys just keep plugging away at these events for Who fans. So it's really good, really cool.
I mean, what I'd love really is, DWAS are very kind of classic orientated. So, there's always there's always kind of themes around what they do with these, what they do around these events, these projection in time events. So they tend to also find guests that you wouldn't normally maybe think of, having a contribution or having something to say. So, it could be people behind the scenes, could be guest actors that were part of that serial, and they tend to be really good at those. It's not your usual guests that you would get at conventions. They find these guests, and they've all got fascinating stories, because it's like a little slice of time when you're listening to them about what they did in their that particular time. And this was obviously centered around the 1960s. So, it's always fascinating to kind of know, the different kind of visual techniques that maybe they were using at that time, or, how costumes were made, or how the production was produced. It's always fascinating to me to kind of find out those details, because it's something that you won't see these days. Production has changed so much, isn't it? So it's always fascinating. And obviously, if you get the original props as well, it's brilliant. Yeah.
It's great stuff. Good. And it's cool that you get out to those things. You like the usual roving. You like the April O'Neil.
Well,
of Doctor Who.
I wish I could say it was an easy journey to get down there, because they're doing engineering works on the Piccadilly line, which takes you into Hammersmith normally. I had to go a kind of different route. So it took me about an hour and a half to get there in the morning and 2 hours to get home. And, considering this is in West London and I live in North London, that was quite a journey that day.
Yep. Fans, if you're not aware of the geography of London, it doesn't sound very far, North West London, but when you have to use public transport, sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge, but yeah, nice one, Maria. Sounds cool. Harry, how the bloody hell have you been, mate?
Hello. I've been really good, Gary. Yeah, quite tired, really. I've been on a lot of adventures lately because
Frodo Baggins here we go.
Frodo Baggins, yeah. I went to not one, not two, not three, but 4 Doctor Who related events.
Oof.
Which sounds like a lot, but obviously we've not recorded in a couple of months, so But yeah, we had Capital, and then we had the TV movie at the BFI, which was a wonderful day. And then I got tickets. You couldn't make this up. I got tickets from a friend of a friend who knew that I liked Doctor Who, that was going to go to a convention in Newark, the Festival of the Time Lords convention in Newark. But they double booked. They were going on holiday that weekend, so they said, "Oh, you can have these tickets." So I went to that. And what was the fourth one? It was MCon in Nottingham, which met McCoy. Had a photo with McCoy in his costume. You can never meet McCoy enough times. I mean, he's he's good when you catch him on a good day, that's for sure. I've just been, recently giving myself and my wallet a little bit of a rest, because there's been a lot of Doctor Who events happening. And I've also been this is stuff that I can't really talk about fully yet, but I've been doing some writing projects plural, which is very exciting. Doing a few Doctor Who related writing projects which are coming up. So I'm looking forward to telling you all more about that when the time comes. But obviously I'll still be writing for the podcast, of course. But we've got a couple of other things coming up, which is very exciting indeed. So even though Doctor Who is cancelled, it is canned, it's off the air, the spirit of the fandom is very much alive, so that is absolutely fabulous. Doing all right, thank you, Gary, thank you for asking.
Sounds great. Up to lots of Doctor Who stuff. Very cool.
Yeah,
nice one, dude. Matthew, how the devil have you been?
Hello. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, isn't it? It's seems like forever since we've all gathered around the mics to have a little chat. I feel like I've let the side down. Everyone else has been up to loads. I've done nothing really. It's been one of those times where it's just been, obviously we had the Capital and that was, absolutely amazing. There's so much to say about it, and it was just a magical time. Met some lovely people, including yourselves, you good selves, and some lovely Doctor Who fans along the way. Other than that, to be honest, I've watched the movie. I shan't go into too much detail, but I watched the 4K. I had it. It was just happenstance that I've had it sat. I've been so looking forward to it, and I could not find a time to get to watch it, and it was bugging the hell out of me. I was just like such a frustrated man for a few days because all I wanted to do was watch this TV movie, and for one reason or another it just didn't come to pass until I think about a week later. Actually, it was it was like my own trial of a Time Lord, really. see how long I could do it for. But as sad as it is, I came out of the upstairs closet with some Doctor Who puzzles that I'd come across from the 50th anniversary.
Sweet.
And I've been doing those last couple of nights. They're not too taxing. They're a couple of 500-piece ones, but there's one of all the Doctors, one of the Daleks, and a nice Matt Smith sort of gloomy-looking one with the Silence and the Weeping Angels and everyone there. That's me. That's my scrape in the barrel of Doctor Who-related things that I've been up to. It's just been... the sun's been out and life has just happened, doesn't it? It's for one thing or another, it's just all swept by, and but there's me in a nutshell.
Nice one. Yeah, and you're not alone, mate. Yeah, since we all went to the Capital event a couple of months ago, I've done very, very little Doctor Who. I've not been to any events or done much. I've watched a bunch of episodes and carried on with the classic rewatch and stuff, but I've not been to any events or anything. So you're not alone, mate. It's and that is a good point, actually. When it's summertime and we've got lovely weather here in the UK and stuff like that, the last thing you want to do in 30-degree heat, or at least 33, like 33 it got to here a couple of weeks ago. The last thing you want to do is being sat in front of the TV and melting into the floor. So yeah, totally get you, dude. But yeah, welcome guys. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're doing well, and one of you has got out on plenty of adventures and so on. Yes, let's recap quickly on the Capital event, because that was a really cool full-on weekend down in Crawley a couple of months ago. It feels like forever. It's so weird. It feels like forever ago that happened, and it wasn't that long ago, really. But we descended down to Gatwick Airport, essentially. We were around the corner from the airport at the Crowne Plaza Hotel, where the DWAS dudes had taken over, And yeah, it was just a solid 2 days worth of lots of Doctor Who stuff. We were there the Friday night as well. I think some of you stayed afterwards on the Sunday night as well. You went home on the Monday, but we were certainly all there on the Friday night. We went out on Friday and all caught up, and that was really cool. Just to have like a big blue box evening, and our good friend Joe was there, and we met up with other people. It was really nice. And then on the Saturday and Sunday, we had a chock-a-block day of going to panels, photo shoots, autograph signings, shopping for merch, and meeting up with people, and people saying hello. And yeah, it was just a really, really cool day. I've said it 1,000 times on this podcast over the years, but there literally is nothing like being in an event or in a venue or something with loads of other Doctor Who fans all sharing your love of Doctor Who. There is literally not much like it that beats that. So it was a wonderful weekend. The DWAS organised it amazingly well. We didn't have any big hiccups or any problems that I can think of in terms of that stuff. It's always difficult, I think, just to navigate around those things, especially if you're a newbie, to try and block out your day. Like, where should I go? I've got a signing here, but there's also a photo shoot going on over there and stuff like that. You just learn to, as you've done these things for years, you get your head around it and prioritize what you want to do and stuff. And they organize it really well in order to do that, which is good. And I picked up this book that I've been wanting for years. It was the Big Finish hardback book with all of the sort of popular cover art and everything, and I had my eye on that for ages, and they were selling it at a really good price there, so I bagged that, of course. And I think you guys picked up a few bits as well. So all in all, the Capital event was a wonderful time, and we got to see a couple of really cool fan films as well, fan-made things that had been dormant for years that were now finished. And one of the organisers had made a couple of wonderful trailers to set the days off. And yeah, it was just a really, really cool time. And obviously getting the opportunity to spend time with this lot is always good, this rabble. So that was great. So yeah, guys, it was really cool weekend. I think you'll agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ditto on that.
Yeah.
It was my first Capital, my first 2-day Capital.
Snap.
Yeah. Because my first official one, I guess, was the Capital Cutaway, which they did last year, which was a lovely event. But this was on another scale to that, I think it's fair to say. And yeah, it was just a whole weekend of festivities, really, and it was a lot of fun. And they, I echo what you say, Gary. Great organisation from the DWAS, really seamless. Everyone really calm and friendly, and just wonderful. Even the hotel staff at the Crowne Plaza, they were brilliant. They were around the whole 2 days and that, and great guests as well. Particularly the ones that spring to mind are Dean Hollingsworth. Can't think of any more now. Robert Shim, he was there, and he was really friendly as always. Paul McGann, of course, which, Matt, I'll let you talk about your experience meeting your favourite Doctor. But just a great roster of guests, and just a brilliant weekend. And it does feel like a while ago, even though it wasn't really that long ago. It already feels like a warm, fuzzy, distant memory, which I can just keep going back to. Thank you all for a great time. It was absolutely fabulous. And I hope we get to do it again next year or the year after. I'm not sure if it's coming back next year, but because I think the guy who was organising it, Tony is his name. He's retiring from organising those now. So who knows when it will come back, but hopefully it does, because it's absolutely joyous. Indeed.
Yep. And Maria, you're a veteran, aren't you, of the DWAS Capital events? You love them.
A veteran. How very dare you?
You've been going to these for years. Out of all of us, you're the most experienced Capital event.
It's true. I've probably gone to more of them. I've been going actually since 2019, and then there was a bit of a gap, obviously because of COVID and things like that. But yeah, I mean, for a 2-day event, it is it's fantastic because there's something about kind of holding it over that weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that really brings people together. There were some fantastic highlights for me. I think we had some really strong guests this year as well. We had the lady that played Donna's mother. Sylvia King was there, and there was the lady Jacqueline King. Sorry, I'm getting the names confused. My brain is addled. So she was there, and we also had the lady that played Ruby Sunday's mother as well. They had a matriarchs panel, which was brilliant, and they had the monster panel as well. And you had the guys. Was it Robert Strange? I might get some of these names wrong, but. There was the monster panel, and it's fascinating hearing about these actors that kind of wear these costumes for like hours on end, and the hardship it is really, in terms of being able to go to the toilet or sweating too much, and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting to kind of listen to these people. There were some highlights, as you said, Harry. Paul McGann. I think having Tommy Knight there was brilliant as well.
I was going to say, I kicked myself for not mentioning Tommy Knight and Gary Russell. They both did a wonderful Sarah Jane Adventures panel, which was really insightful and interesting. And they were both really lovely as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Tommy Knight, I don't think has been to a convention for a number of years. I know Gary's obviously a regular because he's a writer as well. But that was a fascinating panel. It's not possible to go to every panel because, you might miss other things. I mean, I have to be honest, I didn't buy a lot of merch this year. Normally I would be kind of looking at all the merch and buying stuff. I didn't buy a lot. I went to a lot of panels. We had I had a few photographs as well, but we had the auction as well on the Saturday night, which was a lot of fun. Where else would you get somebody kind of trying to outbid someone else? Was it £300 for the costume that Dean Hollingsworth wears with the what's the name of his character? I can't remember what it's called now.
I think he's just a generic android or something. Yeah. Yeah.
But that was fascinating, watching the to-ing and fro-in. I mean, I had a little flutter myself as well. So, it's a lot of fun. And as you said, Gary, the look back as well, because it is 50 years of the DWAS. So, having that archive footage, which I think went back to, was it 1997? I can't remember what year it was, but that was fascinating because you saw people like John Nathan Turner, you saw a really young Nicola Bryant and Colin Baker. And, they were a lot less guarded in terms of what they said at that time to how they are now. They're very diplomatic now in terms of what they say. But, it was very funny kind of watching some of that. And there was
the documentary, wasn't it?
The documentary, that they showed.
Yeah, one of the early DWAS events. Wow.
I can't remember what year it went back to, but that was really interesting, kind of seeing all those young actors and obviously some of the people that have left us now. I think Bob Holmes was on one of them. There was, who else was on there as well? There was some other producers as well that are no longer around. So, it's fascinating kind of hearing these people speak. And, this was probably in the early days of fandom where things were, and there was a lot of smoking I could see as well. So, that was fascinating as well. So, really different times. And they also showed the fan film, the DWAS fan film, which if anyone's been following that series of films, they've been produced over, I think it's 20, maybe 30 years, I'm not sure. But so, there's a lot of variety within, the DWAS Capital. You know, there's something for everyone. You know, there's panels, there's obviously, you know, going and having a photograph taken, there's merch. So, you know, there's a mix, and it's a really good crowd that goes there, I think. You know, we always have a lot of fun in the evenings once the actual official activities are finished. So, yeah, I think we probably need to say a big thank you to Tony Jordan, actually, who's organised these for the last few years. But you're right, Harry, he did say he was going to retire this year. So I know there's the temporary coordinator that they mentioned. So, you know, hopefully we will go back to 2-day Capital at some point, maybe not next year, but hopefully the year after. But yeah, it was a really, really good weekend. You know, a chance for everyone to kind of let their hair down over 48 hours and just talk about Doctor Who and just have a lot of fun. I mean, that I'm sure the Crowne Plaza makes a bundle of money, and they were a lot better organised this year, I think, because there was a few years back where, you know, things maybe were not as well organised. But I know that Tony Jordan worked really hard to kind of make sure that it was very well organised. They had, you know, they had enough staff this year. They were asking people if they wanted anything else. You know, they were very helpful. It was a seamless event, really. And, you know, it's sad to see Tony Jordan go, but, you know, well-deserved retirement for him, really. But I hope, you know, whoever takes it over, you know, brings back Capital over 2-day at some point, because they're really good events. I know they're actually probably going to be doing more of those 1-day events at Riverside, and I know there's something happening at the BFI as well that's coming up soon, where they're looking at the modern series as well. I think that's in conjunction with DWAS and BFI. So, you know, I think there's a lot more to come from the DWAS team, you know, but hopefully they'll do the 2-day convention at some point in the future, because they are just they're such good value as well, you know, in terms of what you spend. You know, as long as you keep a budget, you'll be fine.
That's very true, actually. Yeah, as long as you set a budget, which is, yeah, Matt will tell you, keeping that budget is not always the easiest thing to do. We had that with the Capital Cutaway last year and with the Capital event this year, didn't you, bud?
Oh, yes. When I see a Big Finish stall, I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. It's all over for me, and my wallet is crying, and I'm crying, and yeah. But no, the Capital event, oh, wow. Yeah, it was amazing. Spending time with you all and meeting some really cool people. I just want to echo what Harry and Maria have said about Tony Jordan. Yeah, it was brilliant, and you could just see the labor of love that he's put into this event. Obviously, this was my first 2-day event. Obviously, I came to the Cutaway last year, but my first sort of real foray into it, and it's sort of bittersweet because, you know, you can see how much love and time he puts into these events. And he's just a lovely man as well. You get to talking and listening to what he has to say over the 2 days, and you think, yeah, it's a real shame that he's retiring now, but he's definitely earned his time in the sun now, and yeah, just a massive thank you, really. But yeah, the Capital event, it was wonderful, wasn't it? There's so many highlights. For me personally, meeting Paul McGann, my favorite Doctor, finally in the flesh, and it was one of those where you think like that. There's that old saying, you don't meet your heroes, but no, he's just lovely, absolutely such a lovely man, and it's kind of. It seems silly, but you go and meet him, and you get your autograph, and you come away thinking, did I say anything? Did I actually say anything to him? It was all sort of a blur, but yeah, no, he's just such a lovely man, and it was a pleasure, absolute pleasure meeting him, and yeah, a memory that I'll hold fond for a long time. as well as Paul McGann, I was incredibly excited to meet Tommy Knight from the Sarah Jane Adventures. As anybody who has heard me rant and on about the Sarah Jane Adventures on these podcasts over the years, I just adore the Sarah Jane Adventures. I think it's the best spin-off, and when it was on, I was sort of up in the air on whether I preferred it to Doctor Who. It was that show for me. So
I would say that's controversial,
was,
but I don't really think it's that controversial, to be honest. It's a good show.
It's just,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's just an amazing show, and it's just, I think it also fitted in right at the correct time for that generation of kids growing up with the revival of Doctor Who, and it holds a special place, I think, in a lot of people's hearts. And yeah, so meeting Tommy Knight, I know that he has sort of come away from acting and sort of retrained in a different area. So didn't think it was going to be something that, would come to pass. But he's just such a charming man. One of the highlights was the interview and the panel that they did with Tommy Knight and Gary Russell. It was Return to Bannerman Road, and it was just... it was brilliant. So like Harry said, it was so insightful and just a joy to listen to the fond memories that he has and Gary Russell has. It was just lovely. Really nice. And meeting him, he's such a lovely man. So it was just the whole weekend. It was just amazing. I could go on and on.
It was joyful. It was joyful.
It was. It really was. I had the chance to have a chat with some lovely, lovely people that have been part of Doctor Who, and I say Big Finish as well. And it was just. It's a shame if it doesn't come back for a few years, because my wallet won't find it a shame, but I certainly will. But I'm sure it will come back in some form or another, as much as the show probably will. But it was just amazing.
Yeah, it will do, dude. It'll be back, I'm sure. But yes, you're right to thank Tony Jordan. It was, I think he's done it for donkey's years, hasn't he? Arranged these and so big thank you to Tony and the rest of the DWAS team. It was really, really cool. Almost as cool as Paul McGann practically joining us for breakfast on that morning.
I forgot to say that.
In the restaurant. I mean, he sat just the next table away and we were like, oh my God. Paul McGann's at the table next to us. Like, is he part of the group now? Is he part of the Big Blue Box? What's going on? So that was
totally
really cool.
Fangirled, all of us, didn't we?
Yeah. As you do.
I did ask him if I could borrow a chair from his table. So, he was very nice about it. He was obviously engrossed in his paper or whatever he was doing. But yeah, Paul McGann is such a charming person. I don't know whether
There we go.
No, it's true. I met him a few years ago. He's absolutely charming. I mean, he's got charisma in buckets. And I think probably his whole family have, because they're a family of actors. There's just something so unguarded about him, I suppose, when he's talking. He's not one of those kind of snooty kind of actors, is he? He's very kind of open. He's obviously embraced the role of the Eighth Doctor, which is fantastic. I mean, I'm really sorry that he's on Big Finish and not on TV, if I'm honest, because I think, great that he's on Big Finish, but I'd much rather see him on TV. I mean, he's magnetic on TV, really, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Am I fangirl or am I fangirl?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, I echo all those thoughts, Maria. He's a very charismatic fella. Yeah, he's a cool guy, top guy, Paul McGann.
Yeah,
we love you, Paul.
You do feel like part of the crew when you're in his presence, don't you? He's no airs and graces. It's sort of just you're meeting a mate that you've never met before, but you feel like you're meeting a mate.
Mm-hmm.
I do also want to shout out that Katie Manning was there, and as ever, she was absolutely wonderful with every single guest, really took the time to speak to everyone and give everyone their moment. So, shout out, Katie. We know you listen.
Of course, as does Paul. Thank you very much, Paul. Good sport.
Such a bizarre thing, but just after sitting next to Paul McGann for breakfast, I went up to get my breakfast and had a charming conversation with Dan Starkey about bacon and sausages for about 2 or 3 minutes. It's just the bizarre thing that would happen at one of these conventions.
And if that doesn't sell the Capital, I don't know what does.
A convo with Dan Starkey about bacon and sausage, eh?
Indeed.
That's the selling point for the Capital, yeah.
This
bacon is absolutely delicious. Shall I now go and fetch the grenades?
It's much tastier than the grenades.
Wow, you pulled that one out of the bag. That was really good.
That was really good.
The bacon is absolutely delicious, Doctor. But shall I fetch the grenades? Oh, Dan Starkey. Brilliant.
He's tiny, isn't he? He was sitting at the table next to Christopher Ryan. And they're both kind of quite tiny.
Oh, God.
Bless them.
Sorry, Dan. Maria's got a problem with your height and you being small. Soz about that.
No, but
yeah,
I mean,
we love
when he's on TV, obviously, I don't know whether the TV, the way they film it, you don't get a sense of that. You know, even though he's wearing the costume, you don't get a sense of how tiny he really is. I mean, one of the most interesting things actually, when they did the monster panel, and they were saying about obviously fitting into costumes and stuff. I think you have to be a particular shape and size to get into certain costumes. I mean, unless you're going to play the Absorbalov? Is it the Absorbalov? Unless you're going to play something like that where I suppose size doesn't really matter, you probably do need to be quite tiny to get into some of them, and quite tall maybe for a Cyberman costume. So, you know, there's no hope for me getting into a costume, but, you know, if you're the right... I mean, somebody like Jordan could probably play a really good Cyberman, actually.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Right, so, yeah, Dan, we know you listen. Mr. Starkey, thank you very much for keeping Matt company at the breakfast bar.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yes, thank you very much. Right, that was the Capital. As you can tell, we feel like it was a good event. So yeah, fingers crossed it comes back. Anyway, that's what we've been up to. Let's spend the rest of the ep talking about the bombshell news that dropped that we never saw coming about Doctor Who. So for, I would say, the last, try not to overestimate this, but I would probably say that over the last year and a bit, maybe longer, every round table that we've recorded that we get onto this subject, we usually say the same thing, which is, what do you guys think? Should the show go on hiatus? Should it be cancelled? Should it not be? Should it just carry on? What's the crack? And, you know, mercifully, the Beeb put us out of our misery a little while ago. So I think this was at the beginning of June, roughly this time last month. We had the news drop that, it was like a 2-pronged bombshell. First prong, thus. The Christmas special, canned. Billy Piper, you're out of there. You thought you were going to be the Doctor for an episode at least? I don't think so. You're not coming back, love. So Christmas special, canned. Prong number 2, thus. Russell's had enough. Bad Wolf's had enough. Everyone's had enough. So they've just pulled the pin on the bloody lot. The rug's been pulled. The metaphorical rug has been pulled from underneath fandom's feet, as it were. And it gets better. Oh, it gets better. Yeah. So you know that script that Russell said he was cooking for the Christmas special that was meant to be amazing? Turns out that was a lie. And anyway, the statement that the BBC put out says, just to recap everyone in case you forgot, And I'll whiz through it. Doctor Who remains an important part of the BBC, and this tender underpins the BBC's continued commitment to Doctor Who, ensuring audiences will enjoy the show for years to come. This decision to cancel was not taken lightly, and we know it will be disappointing for fans, but in order to set the show up for future series, it was decided that rather than bridge the gap with a one-off special, we are choosing to push forward to invest in the long-term future of the show, which ensures that the TARDIS lands once more. When it lands once more, it does so in all its glory. So when they say the tender, because Bad Wolf have pulled out and there's no streaming partner in place, the only thing that BBC Studios have is this facility to hire writers, directors, showrunners, etc. They can't actually make the show with anything, so it needs to go out to somebody to get funding, co-producing stuff and all that, get it done. So it's currently out for tender now. Who knows how long that will take? It could be, who knows, in the world of Doctor Who. Any other TV show, you could probably put a safe bet on the fact it will probably be somewhere between 6 months and a year before you get any kind of announcement. But with Doctor who bloody knows? It could be next week that they announce that it's, they found a partner, it's back and blah, blah, blah. It could be 5 years. I have no idea. And then Russell put out a statement that says, we only cooked up the script to guarantee a future when no one knew what would be happening. But now that we do know, there's no need for it anyway. You'll have to wait a bit longer for new Doctor Who, but you'll be waiting for more Doctor Who than a spin-off, so it's worth it. So I think what Russell's saying is they said that they put the script together in order to ring fence some funding for a Christmas special, I guess, and to ring fence some production time to make the show. But now he's saying that there's a bit of a red herring because they never actually wrote a script. They just said they did, so that all the higher ups would be like, oh yeah, there's a script, we better make it. So there's a little bit of dodgy car salesman stuff going on. Some dodgy deals trying to be made, which didn't come to fruition, obviously. But that's the deal. That's where we are. I've said for ages that I think this is a good thing for Doctor Who. My opinion has always been, well, certainly since sort of partway through Jodie's era and beyond, when anyone's asked me or it's come up in conversation, what do you reckon? Carry on as we are, or give it a rest for a bit? I've always said I think we should rest the show for at least a few years, clean house, get rid of everybody, and then just get some fresh new perspective on it, get some new writers and showrunner, etc. But I know that my opinion is not shared across the team. Jordan's not here. I know that Jordan was pretty gutted by this news. He was one of us that was not that happy about it. He was, not that happy, not happy bunny about this one. But to you guys, what do you think, Harry? What say thee? I know that we've spoken about it on and off, but now that it's all confirmed and it's all out there, what do you reckon?
Well, it's a turning point, that's for sure. I think that honestly, the longer, the better. Well, within reason. I don't want it to be off the air for 10 years, but a few years off the air, that's great. It was feeling like a really tired show, I think, because even with every new regeneration, it still kind of felt a bit samey these last few iterations. So, I think this is probably the best thing that could have happened for the show. I'm not particularly happy with the way that they went around the Christmas special, and I'm not, I don't want to name any specific individuals here because we don't really know the ins and outs, but the fact that we were lied to about a script, that stinks. And they talk a lot about brand image and maintaining the Doctor Who brand and stuff. I mean, that's pretty bad for the brand, I gotta be honest. So they've got to really pull it out of the hat when a production company signs up and then they bring the show back in order to win favor again. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think they just need to give us a little bit more credit and a bit more respect, quite frankly, because without the audience, I'm not even talking about the fans here, like us lot, who live and breathe Doctor Who. without anyone who bothers to, just casually watch it, you wouldn't have a program that's as successful as it is, and you wouldn't have a merchandise empire that's successful as it is. So, there definitely needs to be more respect for the audience, I think. And regarding Russell and Bad Wolf leaving, I'll be very diplomatic and say, I'm very thankful for what Russell's done over the years. I think without him bringing the show back, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys now. And I probably wouldn't have the passion of my life that is Doctor Who and all the wonderful things that come with it. But yeah, I think it's about time they moved on.
So you're not, it's fair to say that you're not sort of happy. I don't think happy is the right word, that the show is gone for a bit, but
I think the circumstances are a bit upsetting, to be honest. But the actual show being off the air for a bit, I think that's a good thing.
Positive.
I mean, for me personally, there's still plenty of classic Who that I've not yet seen, and loads of Doctor Who books that I have which I need to get through. So I'm not short for new Doctor Who personally, and. Yeah, there's always new Doctor Who to consume. So, I don't think. I mean, it's not as bad as when it just petered out in the 1980s. I think a lot of us are kind of. I mean, I sort of said at first, oh, this is the Wilderness Years again. But on reflection, after kind of letting it sit for a bit, I'm thinking, actually, it's kind of not as bad as that. I mean, the fact is, the BBC want to make a load of money out of it, so they're sure as hell going to bring it back in some way or another. So, one day we shall come back, basically. We can rest easy knowing that's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And one point I just want to make very, very quickly is that Doctor Who has not been cancelled. I think that's an important thing. I've seen that a lot over all of social media. The Christmas special episode has been cancelled. That is no longer happening. But Doctor Who as a show and everything, that's not been cancelled. So I think if you've seen the social media posts where it's a very clickbaity titles about Doctor Who's been cancelled, the show's been canned, all the rest of it, don't buy into that. The show is still very much alive. It's just having a nap for now, but it's certainly not dead. So.
And don't listen to me when I say it's been canned, because I was just being facetious when I said that earlier on.
Yeah. It's unlike you, mate. Right. Maria. I know Maria's got thoughts. To be honest with you, Maria, you were the first person that came into my head when I first read the announcement that Russell was leaving. You were the first person that I thought, I bet Maria's bloody loving this. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not sorry to see him go. I think, do you know what? I think he knew something was up. Even though the fact that we've actually only been told in June that there wasn't a Christmas special. If you remember, there was something that he did for News Round, and he said something along the lines of, oh, well, there'll be a new generation that will grow up and like for it. And I just thought to myself at that time, I thought that was a really weird thing to say. So I don't think there was any guarantees about the Christmas special. I think like you said, there was a lot of information going around that, they'd announced the Christmas special. And I don't necessarily believe Russell when he said there wasn't a threat, because I know there was some information that he put in Doctor Who magazine about, what might be in it, and he kind of gave clues. So I don't know what was going on there. There's a little bit of subterfuge going on, and I think, as Harry says, that leaves a bit of the distasteful taste in the mouth, really, for fans. And the Instagram post that he put out as well, after the Christmas special cancellation, and it was it was very snarky, along the signs of, there was no script. I never wrote it. and no actor would ever approach to play the next Doctor. You may disagree, fine, sit in that chair and wait to be proved right. You'll be waiting a long time, or a long time was the way he put it. And I just think that's not really very respectful to us. What have we ever done as fans except love the show? We want to love the show. We don't want to see the show going down the pan. We don't want to see bad scripts. We don't want to see, what came out over the last couple of years. We love the show. We're fans of the show. And it just wasn't, he wasn't up to the job really. And I'm glad that Christmas special didn't come out, because he'd written himself into a corner with Billy Piper in the role. So I am glad that Christmas special isn't coming out. What's interesting is the wording that the BBC use, or what they don't say really. They say, rather than bridge the gap with a one-off special, we're choosing to push forward to invest in the long-term future. So I think the relationship with Bad Wolf and Russell T Davies wasn't necessarily, it was like a bad divorce. That's the way I kind of see it. There's obviously some disagreement behind the scenes in terms of, what he had planned maybe for the Christmas special. I'm glad it's not going forward. I think it's good to just draw a line under, whatever the ending of that was, with Billy Piper. Just draw a line under it. Let a new team kind of come in and hopefully pick it up. It's good that the BBC want to put the show out to tender. I think I'd be interested to see what, who would want to pick it up at this point. I think, as Harry says, I think it's had so much bad publicity recently that it needs a break. And I think 3 to 5 years, if it comes back in that time, I think, with a new direction, it's really good. We can just draw a line under this whole era. I think it's such a good decision that we didn't have that Christmas special, because I don't know what would have come out of it in terms of, supporting what somebody would be doing going forward. So, yeah, I'm glad Bad Wolf have gone. Yeah, for sure. And Russell T, for sure. Yeah.
I knew
I
you'd
don't
be
have a,
glad.
I don't disrespect what Russell T Davies did in the first time that he brought it back, because it was all new, and it was very successful. So I'll give him his respect for that. But coming back again a second time, they always say you shouldn't revisit the past, and he didn't let other people kind of guide him, I think, this time, whereas he probably had that more when he came back the first time, because they need to make it a success. I think
Yes.
it went to his head. I think it went to his head this time, having those 2 series to write for. So yeah, I think it was time that he left. And I'm glad we haven't got that Christmas special. Let's see what the future brings. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, no, I read you. And I didn't mean that you would be like, pop in a bottle of champagne and and having a disco, because I understand what you're saying. It's you're just glad that the show's finally able to move in a different direction, and it wasn't able to do that while Russell was still there and Bad Wolf and stuff. So I read you. Matt, what are you saying on this, Mr. Matt?
Yeah. Do you know what? When the news broke, I said kind of immediately, I felt like, and it sounds really overdramatic, but this is just how I felt, that and it wasn't cancelled, but it felt like it at the time. It was like a friend had passed, like an old friend, that someone has just been with you constantly. And it's just sort of, or a relationship that sort of turned a bit sour. And that's especially what I got with reading Russell's Instagram post. It felt like Maria said, it kind of felt like a lover's spat. It just screams of what it doesn't say. So yeah, I think I was over everything just disappointed in the way that it was all handled. I think, I think the show could do with a rest for a bit. I don't think it should be that long. I think it needs a complete overhaul, but I don't think it needs a complete rest. Not, the time it took in the wilderness years. I don't think it needs that. But I think it needs a complete overhaul from the inside and out. Fresh everything, really. And give it a, you've got this one of the most important IPs to BBC that they have, that has given them so much money over the years that it's not going to go anywhere. It's just it needs to come back, and they need to try and put the right people into it. But I think really with the news, I think I was just really kind of a bit angry and disappointed how they treated us really with it. And like Harry and Maria had said, especially how it kind of pointed the finger at fans in general, where that's just a very small minority of fans that are very loud, that really aren't fans, and they're just rage bait people that do it for the love of it. And Russell should be rising above all of this, but no, instead you're grouping us in with the people that you shouldn't be talking to at all. And it kind of just makes you think, like, we're just not part of it anymore. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like Doctor Who. So yeah, I just felt very disappointed and just let down, especially with the whole, it was never a script. It was just something that we could tell you at the time to keep you happy. It's like, we're not babies. It's, for goodness sake, tell us how it is, or don't tell us anything at all, but don't feed us a lie. It just seems silly, and it just seems like a slap in the face, really. Sure. Yeah, I just think the way it was handled was just stupid, really, and just leaves a really bitter taste in your mouth. But yeah. I'm not sorry that it's on a break. I think it could do great things for the show. I think the extended media could have a really good run at resurgence of popularity, from books to Big Finish. I bang on and on about Big Finish and how much it's brilliant and brings out sides of the show that you want and don't get with the show. So if that helps bring the popularity of them even more through these years, then I'm all for it. And I don't want to see Doctor Who before it's ready, if you know what I mean. Yep. There's no point rushing something, but just don't lie to us, really. What's the point in that? Yeah. It just makes you look silly and makes us feel, disheartened with the whole thing, really. Makes us feel used and betrayed and sad and dismayed. Matt, you're so funny. You're like it's like when you did something really naughty. If anyone did anything really naughty when they were little, and your parents, well, my parents certainly, my mum at least, she had this mode where she would shout if I did something naughty. But if I'd done something really bad, just silence, and that was worse. And it was like what you were saying. It's like, we're not angry, we're not mad, we're just disappointed. And that as a child, hearing your parents go like that was like way worse than like feeling like you were being shouted at for being in trouble. So I absolutely get what you're saying. We're not like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there has been loads of the usual sort of keyboard warriors out on socials who are, and you normally get two types of them. You normally get the knee-jerk reactors who,
like, oh, this is outrageous, blah, blah, blah. And they'll spend, got too much time on their hands, 8 hours worth of tweets and all the rest of it. And then you got the other type who was like, oh yeah, well, yeah, I had a cup of tea around Russell's house a couple of months ago. He told me this is exactly going to happen. And I told you all this is going to happen. No one listened to me, but now it's happened. And now you're reacting this way. But why didn't you act this way when I told you about it? Because you didn't believe me. You have all those sorts of people. So those two groups of people, and you find it with with some YouTubers and some other podcasters who are like, yeah, so what's going to go down is like this, right? According to our source. The classic brilliant one in it with some podcasters. It's like, yeah, according to our source, this is what's going to happen. And then inevitably the opposite happens. And then the next episode is like, well, yeah, of course we couldn't guarantee that was going to be the case. It was only a conversation. So listener, steer clear of all that nonsense, all of those echo chamber stuff, all of the people who are, going nuts about it and keyboard warrior, all that just
Bad Wolf were actually doing a Christmas special. It wasn't a Doctor Who one, apparently.
It wasn't Doctor Who. That was so funny, wasn't it?
Oh,
what are you talking about? We're currently heads down doing a Christmas special and everyone's like, what? How could you be? It's been cancelled. Well, it's not all about Doctor Who, you lot. We have got
it was Doctor Who.
Yeah, they're probably thinking we do have a life outside of Doctor Who. It's not all about you. But funny. But
I'm just wondering what they're going to do with that big TARDIS set now, because they're a bit Bad Wolf
smash it
stuck
up,
with.
Chuck it.
Well,
check your local tip donation sites.
I can't remember.
Take a few trips.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But
You'd have to hire a pretty big van.
I'm sure it was Jane Tranter that said.
Maria.
Sorry. No, it's okay. I'm sure it was Jane Tranter that said that they're hopeful that Doctor Who comes back to Cardiff again. So, whether BBC Studios will kind of tender for it will be interesting. I mean, maybe they'll keep that set. You never know. They might keep that set for the future.
Bad Wolf's in Cardiff, isn't it? Bad Wolf Studios, they're in Cardiff.
Sorry, BBC Studios.
Yeah.
BBC Studios.
Oh, BBC, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, they've got they've got studio space, haven't they? Bad Wolf. So, whoever, if say a new production company took it up, they could always hire from the Bad Wolf Studios, I suppose. But I don't necessarily want it filmed in Wales again, and that's not being racist against the Welsh. It's just I'd love to see a different look for Doctor Who, and I think we've done Wales to death by now. We must know every landmark now in Wales.
Maria.
Complete silence. Oh, I'm going to get lynched, aren't I? I'm going to get in so much trouble.
The half Welshman in me is absolutely doing cartwheels right now.
It's a good thing there's a screen between us, isn't there, Gary?
Cardiff Bay isn't Cardiff Bay without Doctor Who, let's be honest.
Well, it is now, because they got rid of the bloody Doctor Who experience, didn't they? It's very much not Doctor Who now. Yeah, you're right. Let's move it to Manchester or something. Yeah,
I'd love to kind of see some other areas, though. Because they, I think one of the joys of Classic was they went to different places in the UK, so you've got a different look. I'm not saying that Wales couldn't be used again, but I think it's been overdone in the new series because it's only been. Because I don't think they have gone out of Wales, have they, when they filmed any of...
Yes. All of Jodie's stuff was up in Sheffield, Yorkshire.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jodie. Okay, sorry. I beg your pardon. That was Chris Chibnall. And they went to South Africa. So, yeah, okay. No, but I mean, for RTD era, I don't think it's been filmed anywhere else, has it? It's all been in Wales.
Rightly so. Yeah.
All rightly so. Ooh, them fighting words. Them fighting words.
I think on a brief change of subject, I'd like to just point out that if Doctor Who does, when it does come back, not if it does, when it does, I hope that they bring back Unleashed as well. And Stefan Powell. I think he was absolutely brilliant in Unleashed, and it's a real shame that they sort of have to suffer the same fate.
Well, they won't do if they don't do it in Wales.
No, exactly.
So Maria's like, well, yeah, what of it?
I don't
Maria's
care.
expecting Stefan to get on the bus to Manchester so that he can film a new series of Doctor Who Unleashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do the UK. No, do you know what I want them to spend the money on? I want them to actually spend it and go on location more, because I think we need to see more vistas than UK. I'd love to see them kind of go abroad again and film abroad, because they haven't done that in a long time, aside from Jodie's era. But yeah, I'd love to see Doctor Who travel. Why can't it go to the US? Why can't it go to Australia as part of the...
Because it's a British bloody show.
No, but
it stays in the UK. That's it. It stays in England and Wales. Definitely not Scotland.
The TARDIS can land anywhere.
Oh, Gary.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a joke. I know. That was a joke. I love Scotland. Yeah. I love Scotland. If the TARDIS had a home, if the new Doctor that came back in a few years and they moved from Cardiff to, I don't know, Edinburgh or something, I would love that. That was a joke. I'd love it if it was in Scotland or something.
You could change the beautiful scenery of Wales to the utterly gorgeous scenery of all of Scotland as well, and it's just you would be just as well suited in Scotland as you would in Wales.
Yeah, definitely not down in the southwest. Definitely not down there. Not with Matt and his tractors knocking around. No way.
Well, we've got plenty of tractors and cows. You know, we could make a cow alien.
Sure, I saw a bloody TARDIS down there. You over eight?
Yeah,
it was bloody brilliant. It was.
What's that blue box over there?
What's that over
yonder?
Driving past my tractor.
Don't worry, I'll be there directly.
My love, look at this bloody blue box here, my love.
You could do a Wurzel Gummidge Doctor Who spin-off or a crossover in Devon, couldn't you? Amazing.
Where did they film? Where did they film The Smugglers? Did they film that down in Cornwall? I'm just thinking, actually.
I think it was Cornwall. Yeah.
Oh, no way. And same as the Curse of the Black Spot. That was also in Cornwall.
Amazing episode.
2 claims to fame for you there, Matt. Look at that.
Well, Cornwall. I'm a Devon boy, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, close by.
Sorry, that's me not knowing my geography about the south of the UK. Midlands boy through and through.
Yeah, puts his jam on after the cream, not the other way around.
I jest. Southwest as a whole.
Yeah.
The old scones, whatever.
Scones.
Scones, of course. Yep.
Of course.
Scones.
Of course.
Oh, let's not open that can of worms.
When you eat it, where's it gone? It's gone.
I'm just being controversial. Go on.
It's gone. Brilliant. Right. That is going to do. I think talking about scones, we've obviously gone far afield from Doctor Who. So I think that's a great place to stick a pin in this episode for the old July Roundtable. Maria, it's been great to have you back on the show and to give us your thoughts on everything. It's great to see you, as always.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Matt, great to have you back on as always, mate. Always a laugh.
Yeah, it's been lovely to be. I don't know where this podcast went towards the end, but it's been lovely, as always, and great to see and talk to you guys.
Indeedy. Harry, and to you as always.
What's
lovely.
Matt chuckling at?
He's having a good old laugh.
Cheeky bugger. Yes, thank you, Gary. It's been a real hoot. Lovely to spend time with you all again. Thank you so much.
Indeedy. Right, let's do it there. Let's roll the outro. Thank you very much for coming back and listening to another episode of the Big Blue Box podcast. That was the July Roundtable with Maria, Harry and Matt. It was great to have you back, listener. Thank you for coming back after our small little 2-month hiatus. See, it's not that bad, eh? Something goes away just for a little, it's not that bad. We're back doing all the stuff, all the waffle and all the news and all that stuff. The cancellation and the hiatus, I think now the dust has settled a bit on that. We're kind of cool with it. You know, it's not, the show's not dead, it's not cancelled, it's just going through a bit of a thing, you know, a bit of a domestic, bit of a ruck with the better half. But yeah, we're back. It'll be cool. No worries. And we'll be talking about all that stuff. We'll be back next month for the August Roundtable to talk about whatever's happening in the world of Doctor Who. These guys have probably been to about 6 or 7 events between them in that time, so they'll give you the lowdown on all that stuff, I'm sure. In the meantime, make sure that you are following or subscribing in your preferred podcast app of choice so you get notifications when new episodes do land. And you can also chat to us on the socials. We're on X, Blue Sky, Facebook and Instagram, I believe. Come give us a like and a follow there and chat all things Doctor Who in between stuff. And we have a very cool free Discord server which is alive and well. Did not get shut down. Come on over there, chat with lots of other cool Doctor Who fans about all the things Doctor Who. As always, chat about Big Finish, collections, events, all that stuff. So come and get involved over there. Until next time, my name's Gary.
My name's Matt.
My name's Maria.
My name's Harry.
And remember,